Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 75 of the Ever Motor Racing Podcast. I hope you're having a nice week, as always. It's going to be a bit of a weird one today because it's just me and Lauren, because Jacob's nowhere to be found and Cameron's ill with the COVID.
Oh, it is Rona. COVID? Oh, no.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't read it properly. It might not be. Is it COVID?
I think he said he thought he had COVID, but I wasn't sure whether or not it had been confirmed.
Well, yeah, hopefully Cameron gets well soon anyway. Yeah, so it's 75, episode 75. We haven't got Jacob's knowledge. We're going to have to rely on yours today, Lauren. 75. There's a very easy one.
Yes, well, we had a quick discussion about this before the podcast, and I don't know any. And apparently there's an obvious one that I'm missing.
There's a very obvious one.
Who is 75?
75. He's really come out of into his stride this year. We're riding for a top team next year, actually, as well. Giving you some hints.
Oh my God, it's Albert Arenas.
Yeah, you got it. Well done. Hell yeah. Got there eventually.
Oh, Jesus. That's embarrassing.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. So there are quite a few number 75s. Go back in time, there was an Italian called Matteo Passini who ran 75 back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is in the BS stock, British Super Stock 1000. There is Alex Olsen as well. You've got, oh goodness, Jamie Perrin as well. There's a Portuguese rider called Ivo Lopez who won the Spanish Superbike Series last year and is, as of now, still the only ever rider to win a CV Moto2 race on a Yamaha R6, beating all the beating all the Moto2 bikes on an R6.
Well, there you go.
He's the only guy to do that because it was at Estoril, I believe, a few years ago, and because that championship you can ride street bikes in the same race, so it's like R6 versus Moto2, and yeah, he absolutely spanked everyone on an R6. It was absolutely mental, unreal. But Ivan Lopez, and then you've got Ryan, who has been on this podcast a few times. His little brother, Aaron Lilly, races in the British Junior Supersport Championship, so the 300 class in the Britain or in the BSB series. Aaron Lilly, he's number 75 as well.
The more you know.
The more you know, indeed. We're going to keep this one a bit short, to be honest, because I can't bother, to be honest. Not really feeling it.
What do you do? What do you do when there's no race? Well, no MotoGP. Yeah. Obviously, there's World Superbikes, but...
Did you watch a Superbike?
No, actually.
Oh my God. No one ever watches a Superbike. I constantly get messages like, can you cover the Superbikes? Like, can you do some Superbikes? But no one watches it.
I watch it if it's on, but I was busy at the weekend, so I kept up to date with what was going on, knew what was going on in the championship, kept a wee eye on things, but otherwise, I don't know what it is about it. I just never seem to be free.
You're missing out.
I know, the racing's so good, but I think it's because you know it's going to be between the top three guys, which it was this weekend, so...
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying that it's not very good because it's between the top three, but then you go back in time and it's like Lorenzo, Rossi, Stone and Pedrosa. It's always going to be them on the podium, wasn't it? But I know what you mean. But yeah, it was quite good. Toprak took 2 wins, and then it was Bautista who took the third in the third race. It was, and Jonathan Rea, I think he's out of it now. He's 82 points back, 83 points back.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, even for Toprak, he's like 40 odd points back.
50 odd.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, even for Toprak, it's looking like quite a big ask, because even if Toprak's winning races, Batista's second, he's not really taking much out of him. So
yeah, well, Toprak won 2 races, Bautista won the third.
Yeah.
And Toprak only gained 3 points on Bautista.
Oh my God. That must be soul destroying.
Oh, it's going to be killer. There's only 3 rounds left, and there's obviously 9 races in that time, which means because there's half points, so there's 62 times 3. There's 186 points on the table left.
Yeah.
But I can't see it. Unless Bautista crashes out 4 times. I can't see it. Bautista's on fire. He is so good on that Yamaha, on that Ducati.
Yeah.
Absolutely
No, he has been
unbelievable.
unreal this season. I think it's just, I don't want to say it's down to the bike because obviously the rider's great, but like, I know I didn't watch the weekend, but on previous rounds, just that bike is so much better than everyone else's. It's hard to look past them to see anyone else winning the championship.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's I think it's gonna be Bautista and it'll be Ducati, and given that Ducati doing well in MotoGP as well, it's interesting to see Ducati finally breaking some streaks because they haven't won a MotoGP title since 2007. I think the last World Superbike one was Carlos Checa. Let's have a look. Let's Google it just so I can find out.
All their bad luck ending at once.
Literally, like they're finally breaking the duck. Yeah, Carlos Checa, 2011. Was the last time. So, and then it's the thing is in MotoGP, it still can go 5 ways in MotoGP. Although I'm seeing a lot of people saying Jack Miller will win the title or can win the title, and I just can't see it happening.
I would love to see it happen. I didn't realize, like, mathematically he was still in it, obviously, until Thailand there last week. And then I was watching the after race when he worked it out and he was like, oh God, I actually am still in this mathematically. I think it would be nice to dream, but you'd need Aleix, Pecco, Fabio, and even Enea to literally implode on themselves for him to win it. So I do think it's slightly out of his reach, but I do think he could move up positions, definitely.
Yeah, if you could beat Enea, that would be that would be interesting,
a big one.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't see it going past the top 3. I think it'll be between Pecco, Fabio, and Aleix, definitely.
Yeah, I do think it'll be one of them. But thing is, because we're going to Phillip Island, a lot of the riders have like a home advantage.
Yeah.
So all we need is Phillip Island to happen and Jack Miller to obviously win, which I think he's probably going to win, to be honest.
Highly likely, yeah.
Very, very likely. And all it takes is, say, Fabio and Pecco, like you said, and maybe Aleix just have a terrible race or crash out or something like that. And suddenly Jack Miller gains. If Jack Miller won, right, and Aleix, Pecco, and Fabio all crashed out, and Jack Miller would overtake Aleix in the championship to up to 3rd and be 15 points back on Fabio and 13 back on Pecco, and it would all be to play for. But these are very much ifs and buts.
I think he will take a chunk out of them in Phillip Island. I definitely do think so. It would be hard to look past him for anyone else taking the win. I think if we get Fabio and Pecco battle, we all know how that's going to end.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So, Pecco could take himself out of it. Fabio could have another bad weekend. It's definitely interesting and it's definitely open. I think, honestly, Aleix is the one sitting in the prime position right now.
Oh, yeah, he's ready to pounce.
Yeah.
As soon as they make a mistake, he's there waiting.
100%.
He's only 20 points back.
Unless Pecco dominates the last 3 races, it'll not be Pecco who wins the championship because, like I said, if you get a Fabio-Pecco battle, there's a big chance Pecco will have a usual Pecco moment. And then if Fabio has another bad race, ends up, sort of low in the top 10s or not really scoring many points, then Aleix is up there. Boom, championship's his. I'm actually really believing in Aleix winning it, I have to say.
I have a weird, because I think my brain goes, Pecco will win it. My heart is like Aleix, but there's something like niggling there that's like, Aleix is going to win this championship.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because it's 20 points back. It means even if he wins all 3 races and Fabio's second in all 3, Fabio's still champion.
Yeah, it's tough. My heart personally says Fabio, obviously, but I think I'm going with my head that realistically, Aleix Espargaro, and just what a story it would be. Like, I really want it to happen.
It would be the biggest comeback ever to come into a season never winning a race. 283 races without a win. To then go and win the championship. If he retired at the end of this year after winning the championship, I would not blame him.
No, it would be incredible. Like, genuinely incredible. Do you know he might? I could honestly see it because he talked about retiring before COVID, and then Aprilia obviously, worked it all out, and they're finally up there. So I think if he actually did win the championship, there'd be a big chance he'd just go, no, that's enough now.
Yeah, because there'd be nothing else for him to
do.
Achieve. Yeah, he's got his kids, he's got his family. He can go and ride push bikes and doesn't need to. Maybe he can swap places with Savadori and be like
test
a test
rider.
rider.
Yeah, I think he would do well at that, considering how much he's advanced with Aprilia. Like, it's been a lot of his hard work that's made the bike so good. So I think, yeah, it would be a good move for him.
Yeah, especially given the fact that the calendar's only getting bigger. I mean, he's got less time with his family. We all know he's a big family man, so
yeah.
We're all just obviously saying this if he wins the championship. And he could win the championship and still race, but we're just making stories as we do.
I like making stuff up. Nice hypothetical situations that probably are never going to happen, but they're fun to think about.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a title like Alicia Spargo retiring, ? Get everyone clicking on it, you know?
Everyone would be like, what?
No way.
Yeah.
Ever met racing fake news again? What? Simon Patterson would have a field day with that. But yeah, with Jack Miller though, when people say, he can win the championship, if he leaves, so he's 40 points back. If he leaves Phillip Island, 50 points back. So if he drops 10 points to Fabio or Pecco, whoever leads the championship leaving, then he's out of championship contention.
Yeah.
So he has to, if he wants to be in it, he's got to win the race. I think, like I said, it's a very, very high chance he will.
Yeah.
But
the same goes for Enea though. He could lose it in Phillip Island.
Enea could lose it. Yeah.
So I think between those two, they'll know what they have to do to keep themselves in it. Realistically, you know, both of them are going to be wanting to win or on the podium ahead of Pecco, Fabio, and Leish. Otherwise, they can count themselves out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I put a poll on the story the other day, just asking, who, where people thought. Oh my word, what is going on? So yeah, I put like a thing up to say, like, where do you think who's going to win the championship kind of thing? And it's not giving me the results of how many people have voted, but giving percentages. So I'll read out percentages. So, that's annoying because I can't see how many people voted on it. Why have you done this, Instagram? Why have you done this?
Is it because it's after 24 hours?
I don't know, because normally you can go back and share the result.
Yeah, look through it. I know what you mean.
I've done that before. What? Oh my word. Instagram, you've screwed me here. Thanks for that. But on percentages of, I don't know how many people have voted. Last time I checked, I think it would be, last time I checked, it was about 1,500, and that was after 10 hours. So we'll say 3,000. Out of 3,000 people, that would be a good number to say. So out of potentially 3,000 people, 52% have said Francesco Bagnaia, 36% have said Fabio, and 11% have said Leish. And
was it just between those three? Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't see Leish, I can't see Enea or Jack winning. The amount of messages I got though saying, "Oh, what about Jack? What about Jack?" And I'm like, "Come on, bro, use your brain."
Well, that's one of those hypothetical stories, like we've literally just been saying about Leish. I mean, hypothetically, it would be incredible if Jack pulled it out of the bag, but realistically, it probably isn't going to happen. But I think so many people are just thinking, it being his last few races for Ducati, to beat Pecco, to win the championship for Ducati after so many years, like it would be such a story. It would be incredible. I think people are just so hopeful that it happens just because it's such a good story.
It's a feel-good story, isn't it?
And he just got married. That adds to it. Yeah.
He just got married. So congratulations to Jack Miller as well for getting married and reminding me that I am forever alone. But well done, Jack. It's weird. I saw a tweet from Tammy Gorelli on Twitter, who's like, she's in the paddock quite a lot. And she basically said that last year she was like speaking to Jack, and he was said he was quite bubbly and quite like happy and elated, more than usual. And she was like, "Jack, you're in love." And he was like, "What? No, life's just good. And a few months later, his fiance appeared in the garage. And I was like, It's nice though. I don't know, Jack's a good guy. He deserves something like that,
Yeah, definitely. I think he's had it so tough coming up from Moto3, obviously. I know it was quite a long time ago now, but he deserves to be fighting for a championship, I think. Like, he's such a talented rider, so I'm annoyed that it's only coming in now when the chances are very low for him to actually win it. Like, if this had come at the summer break, I would have been gunning for Jack 100%.
100%.
Because it would just be so good. He definitely deserves it. So hopefully KTM can step up next year.
It's bittersweet that he's going to KTM, isn't it? It's finally finally Jack Miller is going to be like a championship contender for Ducati. And he's off to KTM, which probably have the worst bike on the grid. Oh, hey.
Soul destroying. Completely soul destroying. Why would you? Yeah. I don't know why they got rid of him. I'm still in the opinion of they should have kept him for another year or two.
Yeah, I put Anea at least in Pramac.
Yeah.
And then it's all good. Where does... Oh, it's Christini's at the moment. Because at the end of the day, it wouldn't be bad to put Zarco in Christini on a 22 on a current bike. It wouldn't be at the end of the world if they can put Marini on a current bike and they're removing that next year. Why don't you just put him in Pramac or just keep him where he is in Grassini on a current bike, But Ducati have clearly gone, it's the end of a line for Jack and we're going to move him over.
Yeah, when it got announced, I thought it was a very interesting move because Jack never really got to show his full potential. This is the second year with him, so
2 years. It's Ducati for you. They like Iannone only got 2 years. Lorenzo only got 2 years before. You get Iannone 2 years, and we're going to get Lorenzo now. Lorenzo only got 2 years, and again 1.5 years into that 2 years, Lorenzo got good.
Yeah.
Jack Miller 1.5. Yes, of course he won some races last year, early on in the season, but then he really found his mojo 1.5 years into this. But they don't give these riders the continuity, which is kind of why I'm glad Pecco's getting longer time now.
Well, it seems to be that one rider gets the long run. Dovi was with them for so many years. One rider gets to stay, and then they just mess about with their second rider for some reason. Which now they've shot themselves in the foot though, signing Anea, because Anea is going to want the championship as soon as he sits on that bike, and I think he will be fighting 100%. For it. That's the difference, is that I don't think it'll take him a year and a half to settle.
He'll be on it straight away.
Yeah,
I mean, it's taken him a year and a half to settle into Grassini and then obviously Avintia on an old bike.
Yeah.
So that's why they've kind of gone for him, I guess. But then the factory Ducati vibe is so different because they're just, I don't know. Like, it's just toxic in there. It's the definition of a toxic workplace.
It'll be interesting to see who they put their, not effort into, but like their time into. Who will they really back between Pecco and Anea? Will be very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that stirs up. Because, I don't know, it's a bit strange with the factory team, because you get top riders and they go into the factory squad and it just falls apart a little bit. Like Dovi said, it was so toxic and horrendous, and Lorenzo was a bit like, about it. I mean, you kind of saw a bit back in Thailand. Like Tadotsi, I was like, he's a nice guy, he's a big friendly character, and then all three of them went into the Pramac garage afterwards, and Tadotsi went mad at, I think it was Zarco's crew chief. I can't remember what he said. He said something.
Well, one of them said something along the lines in English, and it was like, we listen to Gigi or something like that. Or we always listen to Gigi, or Gigi's always right, or something along the lines of something to do with Gigi. And I was like, this is awkward. But I mean, that video basically just told everyone what we already knew, is that team orders are in massive play at Ducati. Like, what?
Oh, yeah. I'm watching the video now, yeah. So, team orders are massive, but what did he say? Because he said something else. He said, obviously, the Gigi.
Yeah.
But because Tadotsi went in there, absolutely guns blazing for some reason.
The other two were happy. Your Chibati and Delineus seemed really, really chuffed.
Yeah, it doesn't... There are those who deserve it, and then there are... And then, so... He basically said that Pecco didn't deserve the third place, which is Zarco's crew chief, I'd imagine. Said there are those who deserve it, aka deserve the podium, and then he was like, Zarco could have won that race.
Yeah, I'd seen
Zarco
that bit.
held back. Yeah, Ooh, so there's a bit of needle there. But Zarco is happy to kind of sit back anyway and
I mean, at the
not
end
battle,
of the day, he didn't have to respect the team orders. He clearly made that decision for himself and said, "No, I am going to respect these orders here. I don't know the ins and outs of the situation." I mean, Enea clearly does not have team orders.
A rumour is he doesn't have them full stop.
Yeah.
Everybody does apart from Enea.
Well, Jack finished ahead of Pecco. And I think it is a case of if you can win the race or you have a chance of winning the race, then you can overtake Pecco.
Yeah,
but if you don't, then don't pass Pecco, which is mad to me because Zarco had a chance to win that race and just didn't take the risk.
Yeah, I guess because it was a wet track as well. And the last thing you wanted to do was drop the front in front and going past Pecco. Because, it's if you can win the race, win the race. If you can't win the race, let Pecco basically ride in front. And Jack Miller could have won that, obviously, but because he was right on Miguel Oliveira's tail.
Yeah.
But then obviously Aragon could have won the race, and he did win the race, so fair play. But it's interesting. If that Aragon overtake hadn't have happened, Pecco would be leading the championship now.
Yeah.
By 3 points.
I think Thailand's a weird one because realistically, Fabio shouldn't have been... it's weird when you look at the conditions and delayed races and you can sort of go, oh, well, if it was a dry track, then this would have happened and that would have happened.
Thing is, I've got something I want to touch on actually, because Fabio has deleted, or not deleted, he had
deleted and it seems to be back now.
He kind of, it's back, but the photos are back. Yeah, because he fully
deactivated, I think would
deactivated,
be
his Instagram, and then brought it back up with no photo, just saying having a break. I think, this is just my opinion, of course, and very welcome to discussion. I think Fabio is having another 2020.
I agree with this statement somehow. I don't think he's having another 2020 because I think he grew past that. I think, getting the help he needed over the winter break and stuff after the 2020 season, obviously coming back so strong in 2021, I think he would know better than to sort of slip back into that. He has to be speaking to people. He has to have mind coaches and people around him that help him. So I think he's more just doing what he thinks is going to help him, deleting all the distractions around him. He knows fine rightly if he goes on social media, everyone's going to be hyping up Pecco and all the Ducati riders. I think he just knows himself. There's no point in wasting his time on social media.
Yeah, 100%.
He could still win the championship, and I think he's just focusing on the fact that he still has a 2-point lead, and if he can keep that to Valencia, he's still world champion. So
yeah, I think there's a lot to do with the pressure.
Yeah.
I think the pressure, because last year when he won that championship, he didn't have any pressure because he was that far ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
In 2020, because he wasn't that far ahead of everybody, you saw him crumble.
Yeah.
And then this year, obviously, his last podium was 4 rounds ago.
Yeah.
In Austria. Since then, obviously, he had his DNF in Aragon, which was completely not his fault. Then he finished 5th in Mazzano, 8th in Japan, 17th in Thailand. Obviously, Thailand obviously was wet, but I thought, and many others thought, Fabio was past this struggling in the rain kind of thing. I
think we were a bit quick to jump on that he had a good result in Indonesia when it had been wet earlier in the year. I think everyone had just gone, whoa, he's got over his streak of not being able to ride in the wet. But you look back at his career and you go, well, actually, it was a bit quick to assume that he all of a sudden could ride in the wet. He's never been able to, so it's not really a surprise that.
No, it's just intriguing because how can you go from a second place in Indonesia with Miguel Oliveira winning? Oliveira carries the same form in a similar humidity, a similar track in the same similar part of the world, and yet Fabio is 15 places back.
Yeah.
And Miguel Oliveira is still winning the race. That's where it's a bit, But I can understand as well that, like you said, that, people may have jumped the gun, myself included, jumped the gun a little bit too quick. But Fabio seeing his gap gone from 91 to 92.
Well, it wasn't
dropping
91.
80.
It was 91 to Pecco. Pecco's overtaken a lot of people to get to second in the championship.
Yeah, it was to Pecco, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right.
It was always less than, I think, 40 points.
Right, that makes more sense.
I'm nearly sure. I can't be 100% sure, but the gap between him and Aleix has always been his closest until Pecco.
Second, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that makes more sense. Because I saw a thing that Fabio had scored 47 points since the summer break, which is the least amount
out of anyone.
Top 5,
yeah, mm-hmm.
which is crazy. But I'm like, because he's won 3 races this year, and Bastianini's won 4.
Yeah,
4. Pecco's obviously won 6.
Honestly, how is he still leading the championship? I think
literally it's because Pecco keeps crashing.
The biggest pay rise in the history of pay rises. Like, how is he still leading the championship? Because like you look at it and you look at the championship and you look at his race results and you go, how is this possible?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I'm literally trying to do the maths in my head at the moment. Pecco crashed out of Qatar in 7th or 8th? I'm not really sure. We'll say 7th. So that's 9 points. He crashed out of France in 2nd. That's 20 points. Crashed out of Catalonia, I would say 6th to be fair. That's already 39 points. Germany crashed out of 2nd. That's 59 points. Japan, he crashed out of, we'll say 8th. I can't remember what it was.
It was about 9th or 10th?
9. We'll say 10th. We'll say 10th for 6th. So it's about 65 points Pecco's dropped in just crashes. So the fact that Fabio is still in the championship, it just, again, it shows a weakness, a massive weakness on Pecco's side more than anything. Because at the end of the day, to win and be the champion, you have to be there. It's why Johan Mir is champion, because he was there. You know, you can't be winning championships crashing out of races like that. But yeah, it's crazy. They're not going to break 300 points this year, though. It's like the last few years, since Marquez obviously got injured, they're barely scoring any points. Like, the points totals are a lot lower, which I think shows how vastly strong the field is, because everybody's taking points off each other.
I think that is the big one. And also, people are making more mistakes, but that's because the group is so much larger now. You show up to a racetrack and you don't know who's going to win, whereas before it was Marquez is going to win here. Fabio might have a shout. Like, if we look at the 2019 season, Fabio might have a shout, Dovi might have a shout, and that's it. Maximum 3 people, you were going, yep, that's what's going to happen here. Whereas you show up to Thailand and none of us had our predictions right, because it's like, you don't know. It could be Maverick Vinales one week and then he's down in 20th the next week. Like, they're making so many mistakes, but it's because there's so many people actually in with a shout of winning races.
It feels so level.
Winning races, winning championships, like it's very level, very, very level.
It's crazy. Like, I've got it here. So we'll go back to 2021. Fabio won the title with 278 points of 18 races. And then, obviously, we won't count 2020 because it doesn't matter. 2019, Marquez in 19 races scored 420 points. Then 2018, 2017, and 2016, Marquez scored 321, 298, 298 respectively on 18 races. So the fact that they're not going to break in 21 races this year, 20 races this year, they aren't going to touch 298 with 2 races more. It's crazy to me. And even further back, you look at 2011, Stoner in 17 races scored 350 points.
Dominance.
In 17. Unbelievable. And then Marquez,
I think we're
362.
Entering a new era. Like, we had the dominance of Rossi. We had Lorenzo, Stoner obviously mixed in there, and then we had Marquez, and now we have this from like 2020 onwards. It's just been, you can't call it.
You can't. Like, I'm just looking now. In Rossi's championship winning seasons, he never finished under 300 points. In 2004, in 16 races, he scored 304 points. That's crazy. Marquez has never... Marquez has dropped under 300 twice. Which again just shows how competitive MotoGP is. And obviously Marquez did that in more races as well. To me, it's intriguing, I guess, that they're not... Like, the max they can get is 219 plus 75. I can't bother to work it out on top of my head. 75 is 294. That's the maximum points they'll score. I don't even think they'll crack 250, to be honest. Or maybe they'll crack 250, to be fair. 275, I can't see them beating. It's just, I kind of love it, though, that it is so competitive. You know, the top 10 they've all got over 100 points. Top 12 have over 100 points. Luca Marini scored 101. Which is, it's just, I don't know. And for me, I think that going back to Fabio a little bit, he's not able to dominate a season because of the bike, I would say. Not because of talent, because of the bike.
Purely because of the bike. But I think, I don't know, it would take away from it slightly, I think, if he had a bike as good as Ducati. Because then you're just going back to what we watched, but we're in something completely new now. There's something so exciting about watching someone on a bike that isn't as good. It's not the top bike on the grid.
The underdog.
Then you've got an Aprilia this year who, you know, they're not the top bike on the grid. They've made a massive jump. There's something so much, not more exciting, but it's different because we've never seen it before, of like a up and coming people. It's not the dominance that we're used to.
Yeah, and it's just, we're definitely in a new era of MotoGP. And I think it's very interesting because I think for the last however long, we've always seen riders just dominate championships. You know, it's been Lorenzo breaking the record with the most amount of points scored in a season. Back in 2012, I think it was, Pedrosa scored 330 points and came second.
Yeah.
Which is just mental. And like you say, we're getting more rounds but less points scored, which shows that realistically, if you can put in a good season, anybody on that grid can win the championship.
I think Mir did it perfectly in 2020. Of you just have to be there and you have to be somewhat consistent, and that's it. Like, he had 1 win compared to Frankie Morbidelli's 3 wins. You look at it, you go, well, Frankie should be the one winning the championship. Well, no, Mir was more consistent. It's a new year. As much as I enjoyed watching someone dominate, I think it adds something different that we've never seen, and it definitely makes it more exciting, I think, in a different way.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't want to take anything away from Fabio, of course, but his inability to dominate a season like that, is that a negative towards him, or is that just a positive towards the other riders around him and basically how good MotoGP is at the moment?
Yeah, I think honestly next year we'll get a good idea of that, because we know that Yamaha have brought top speed, which is what he's been asking for. If they can put that into their bike next season and Fabio still can't dominate, then there's going to be questions. But I think if he gets the top speed he's been asking for, if he can get up there on somewhat of Ducati's level, I don't know. I would like to see him dominate. I think he has the ability to.
Yeah.
But I think it relies heavily on whether or not their upgrades are good enough next season. Definitely.
Yeah. I think the way that it's gone this year, if Ducati can bring a bike that Pecco can ride next year, I'll say it on record now, I fully think he will dominate. He has the ability to dominate.
Yeah.
If you go back this year, since Jerez, he's either finished on the podium or crashed.
Yeah.
He's got a win, retire, win, retire, retire, win, 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 second retirement, third. That is crazy. That is what I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 races, and he scored a podium in 8 of them.
He has
with the wins in 6.
He definitely has the potential. With Pecco, it's more of a shout of his mental side, which is what we're saying. We're asking, the questions of, is Fabio going through another stage where he cannot handle it mentally? I think I'd like to think Fabio can, knowing how he's overcome things in the past. We haven't really seen the same from Pecco, apart from his blunder in Misano last year. This season, we've shown that he's cracked a lot under pressure from Fabio specifically. So again, for Pecco next year, it'll be interesting to see is Fabio the issue, or is it him just not being able to be consistent enough, because theoretically this season should have been his in the bag about 4 races ago, but he hasn't been consistent enough.
No,
not
no,
enough.
he hasn't.
He has been consistent at some points, but definitely
not exactly enough. That. And it's looking good. Like I said, I don't know who's going to win the championship. I think I can't see Fabio winning it, truthfully and honestly. I think it's out of Francesco Bagnaia and Aleix Spargo, because Fabio, but it's not for a lack of talent. Even Marquez said that, which I kind of don't really agree with, that they were like, oh, who's going to win the championship? And Marc Marquez said Pecco's bike.
I think it needs more context, this quote. I can't remember exactly what he said,
quote.
But it was something along the lines of, I bet on Pecco's bike. He didn't say anything bad about anyone, but it was.
So let's have a look quick. Here we go. I've got the full thing. So Marc Marquez was asked, they always say 6-time motor champion for Marc Marquez, but when they talk about Rossi, it's always 9-time champion. That really grates on me. They wouldn't say Rossi's a 7-time champion, would they? But anyway, so Marc Marquez, 8-time champion, not 6, was asked who he would put his money on. Marquez said, I bet on Pecco's bike. He said, I mean, Ducati is Ducati, and as we see, many Ducati riders are good, but Fabio's Fabio. Fabio's riding very good. His weak point is maybe in rain conditions like today, but it'd be interesting to see on the track, but he doesn't want to bet on a rider. But I don't agree with the whole Pecco's bike thing, because, Pecco's bike's good, but you still have to ride the bike. It's not going to ride itself to first place.
I think more what he's trying to say is, if you look back, you've got Enea, you've got Jack, they're all on the same bike. You've got the 2 Pramac boys. You know, I think it's more, I think he's worded it badly in saying, I bet on Pecco's bike. I think it's more, I bet on Ducati as a whole, because not only has Fabio got Pecco and Aleix to think about, he's also got 7 other Ducatis that aren't even in the championship to think about. So I understand what he's trying to say, but maybe if I'm reading it the right way, he just maybe didn't say it the way he was actually thinking.
And because it's a second language, you can kind of excuse it. But I think I'm gonna I'm just trying to work something out off the fly quickly. If we count Aston as a race finish, aka not finishing the race, every Ducati rider has beaten Fabio this year. If you don't count it, then every rider barring Digia and Bezzecchi. I think Bezzecchi has probably beaten Fabio in a race, but I'm just going off the fly again.
I was going to say Aston, but obviously that was the race that Marco beat him in,
Bezzecchi beat him at Thailand, and Fabio was just behind Pecco at Thailand. So if you discount DNFs, every Ducati apart from Digia has beaten Fabio at one point this year, which is crazy given that you've got rookies on there, you've got a wide spread of riders that are all very different to one another. Luca Marini is different to, say, Zarco, and they all managed to beat Francesco Bagnaia. But then it again just shows how good the Ducati is and how very rider friendly it is.
Yeah, I think if he'd said, I bet on Ducati, or I bet on the factory Ducati, something along those lines, I think it would have made more sense. I personally think that's what he was trying to say, but obviously I don't know exactly what was going through his mind. But
no one does. Marc Marquez, he's a robot. But I think if going back on the dominant thing there, I think if we saw Fabio on a Ducati, he would clean up.
We'd not be having any conversations about.
He'd be champion at Aragon.
He wouldn't even need a race. He'd be like, oh, right, Fabio on a Ducati. Okay, just give him the title. Done. At the start of the season. It'd be pointless.
Literally. Yeah, it would. He's definitely the most talented rider to come in since Marc Marquez, I would say.
Yeah. 100%. I think in the grid as a whole, the talent has taken a step up in the last 5 to 10 years massively. But I could see the thing with Fabio is I could see him winning multiple championships, and that's something
me too.
I don't see with a lot of other riders on the grid.
No, and I think next year will be different with Marquez back in and looking very strong as we've seen.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting to see. I think because it's Marquez, I think we'll probably see Marquez in the championship next year.
well,
to be honest.
and
I've been Pecco's leveled up.
Yeah, I've been quite solid in myself saying this. I think Marquez will be there. I think he's going to cause chaos. I think he's going to be Marc Marquez. But I don't see him winning the championship. But just because he's always dominated, like we've literally just said about how much he's dominated the seasons before, with the talent of Fabio, Pecco, Aleix, Enea, he's going to be on a good bike. There's rookies coming in. Well, Augusto Fernandez, but there's
and Raul's on the Aprilia,
Luca Marini,
Miguel's on the Aprilia, Marini.
Like,
I think
I just don't see him doing it because of the standard of the rest of the grid now. And I'm not trying to slag anyone off from seasons past, but I just think it is so much more competitive now that I don't see him winning it.
I think the argument for Marquez would be that he's the only rider who can consistently stand on the podium every week. Doesn't matter what track it is.
Yeah.
You know he will be in that podium fight. The only rider I can see getting close to that on the consistency level is Francesco Bagnaia.
Yeah. And I think if Yamaha put a good bike out there, we could see Fabio based on 2019.
Yeah, because Fabio's massive thorn in his side for the last few years. 2019, again, his consistency was there. That was his probably, like last year, again, he was on the podium quite a lot.
2019 was his best season by far out of his 3 seasons so far. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, and like his title winning season, his worst result was 13th, and that was because of his
arm pump,
and he was in first place. So if you disregard that completely and the fact that he was in first, his worst result was 8th place at Aragon, which he hates.
Yeah.
And then Austria, 7th before that. And he is on the podium at Austria before, has he?
This year, yeah.
Look. Yeah, this year, yeah. Yes. So, Fabio can again do it at every track, but the bike has been so slow that he can't do it. Like Jonathan Rayenwald's bike. Yeah. He can't fight because the bike is just 500 revs down, and it's not there. Whereas if he can have that bike next year, I hope for the sake of the sport, that we see a 3-way, maybe 5-10-way battle. But I want to see Fabio, Bagnaia, and Marquez go head to head.
And Bastianini. The 4 of them.
Bastianini, of course. Yeah. And anybody else who wants to join, all different manufacturers, all just going ham.
Yeah.
The safety of the sport and sake of the sport and its dwindling fans and all that, we need to see something next year.
Yeah, because the fight has been good this year, but we haven't actually seen on-track fighting.
It's tense off-track. Like, looking at it, oh, wow, 2 points, wow. After the races, you're like, wow, look at it, it's so close. But then on-track, during the races, you're like, this isn't interesting to watch. But then after the races, when you're like, oh, it's hotting up, it's so good.
Yeah, it's like Moto 3 would be my favourite class this year in terms of on-track action in the MotoGP paddock. Well. Yeah, but Moto 2 is taking a massive step up this year.
This is the best Moto 2 class in years.
By far.
In a decade.
Yeah, easy. It's been very, very good, whereas MotoGP has almost taken a step
stale, isn't
back in just on-track action. Like, in terms of action in general, fantastic, been great.
Amazing, yeah.
But, yeah, it's weird to say that when we've just talked about how great the grid is and how competitive everyone is.
Yeah, I think people understand, though, what we're trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. But
yeah,
it could be good.
Yeah. So we'll do our predictions. We did say we want to do it a bit short, and it's now 45 minutes into the podcast. So
this will be a short one today.
Yeah, woo. Well, hopefully everyone's enjoying it anyway. Us two chatting, because it's never been whenever it's a 2-person podcast, it's normally me and Jacob. We always end up arguing. So.
I was going to say it's probably a lot more argumentative than this.
Yeah. So we need to do our predictions. Has Ryan replied? That is the question. I doubt he has. because he's horrendous. He is messaging in the other chat, so I'll see. No. Yeah. Ryan, you are useless. And he's read in the other chat. Oh, you're a pain in the ass, Ryan.
Ridiculous.
Hold on, I'll say bruv plus. I'll say if Jacob can send predictions very quickly. He read the chat. He hasn't even read the blooming EMR chat, so. Oh, he has read it. Let's have a look. Jacob prediction. But we've got Cameron's anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Cameron's a good boy. Cameron's a good boy. So the way the points are scored is you get a point if you predict pole position. You get a point if you predict a rider on the podium in any position. For example, if you predict on-shoot to be third, if it's your second, you get a point. You get 5 points if you correctly predict pole position in all three classes. You get 5 points if you correctly predict a rider on a podium. For example, if you pick on-shoot, finish third, he finishes third, you get 5 points. If you correctly predict the winner, you get 10 points. If you correctly predict all three riders on the podium, but they're in the incorrect positions, you get 15 points. You get 20 points if you incorrectly predict the riders on the podium, like you would for 15 points, but get pole. If you correctly predict the riders on the podium in their correct positions, you get 25 points. If you correctly predict all three podium riders on the podium in their correct positions and get pole, you get 30. And if you can do that for all three classes, we'll give you 100 points. So we'll go Moto3 pole. Cameron has gone for Guevara. Who are you going to go for, Lauren?
It is hard to look past him, but I think I'm going to put Foggia down.
Foggia. Okay. I'm going to go Sasaki, to be honest. I think Sasaki's got a shot. Thing is, with Phillip Island, you always see weird results. Pecco in his rookie year got 4th place. Jessica Raffine got a 4th place.
Yeah.
And then got sacked from thought Jacob's going to send us predictions because he fell asleep after football, which is why he's not on here. So Jessica Raffine got 4th place and he got sacked by Dorna. Dorna stopped him getting a seat. So anything can happen. So I'm intrigued. And do you remember a few years ago in their Moto3 race when there was 20 of them into the first corner on the final lap?
Yes.
And Rennes won it. 2019, I think it was, or 2018.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it happened in 2018 and Lorenzo Della Porta won that one. I think he won the championship that day. And
Moto3 is begging for one of those races though, because we've had standout winners for the last few races.
Guevara's made it so boring, hasn't he?
Well, Foggia did it the other week as well, in fairness.
Yeah, he did, to be fair. Yeah.
So between the two of them, they've ruined Moto3 ever so slightly for the last few weeks. But I think
God they're going to Moto2.
Yeah, good.
Guevara has been confirmed, thankfully.
Yeah,
finally,
oh my God,
so.
finally took them long enough. But I mean, we all knew it as soon as they confirmed the Moto3 riders for for next year. It was an obvious.
Yeah, and Garcia's at Pons. That's intriguing. What a Rennes is it? Are you? That's
I
weird.
wonder.
Where's Guevara going? Oh.
Imagine they just completely blindsided us and they were like, "Oh, someone else got it." That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, here's some washed up Moto E rider for you. It's just what? Yeah. So, 3rd place for Moto3, please, Lauren.
See, after Thailand and Ricardo Rossi getting up there, I think I'm gonna have to go for someone a bit more bold.
I'm gonna go bold. Oh, Ryan sent his as well. What a legend.
I'm going to go wild. Do you know who I'm going to put on? Scott Ogden. He deserves it.
Oh,
I'm going to go very bold. But he's proved it time and time again that once he can get it right, he's definitely in for it. He can be fast enough to be on the podium.
Yeah.
If he can put 100%. It all together. Yeah, fuck it. We'll go for Scott.
Okay, great. Scott. So Ryan has gone for Guevara on pole. And 3rd place, he's gone Foggia. Now, I'm going to go bold. And I'm going to put David Munoz.
I don't think that's bold. I think that's I think it's on its way.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's quite likely, isn't it, really?
How many people can he snipe off on the way is probably the bigger question.
He'd probably knock off Messia because them two just seem to
they hate each other
in every race. I mean, everybody hates Munoz at this point. Joel Kelso despises him.
No.
That's a shout. I'm going to put Kelso in second place, home race and all that. Let's go, Joel.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What are you going to say?
I was going to say, after I'd spoken about Ricardo Rossi in Thailand, I'm going to put him in second place.
Nice. Okay, I respect it. Ryan's gone safe for Sasaki and Cameron's gone safe with Foggia. Fair enough. For the winner, I haven't thought about the winner.
Guevara. All day, every day. He's going to win the championship. Okay. Solid. He's got it in the bag.
Yeah, because he could win it this week. Oh, I need to make a graphic. What day is it? Oh, it's Tuesday. It's fine.
You have loads of time.
Tuesday. No, it's Monday. It's Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we've all put
not
Guevara,
to stress
Jacob.
You out, but I have a graphic made.
Okay, God, I need to. I've got an idea in my head of what I'm going to do, but I just need to
do it.
Execute it. Yeah.
There you
go. Right, Jacob's typing, so we'll have Jacob's on in a minute. Let's see how long it takes.
I mean, we could just talk about how great Guevara is going to be at the weekend.
Yeah, so Guevara is 45 points, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, it's very realistic. He could do it.
Let's work out on air, whilst we wait for Jacob, oh my God. Where he needs to place to win the championship. Let's go.
English?
Yeah, I'm failing today. Honestly, right. I'm always failing. It's fine. So Guevara leads Foggia by, oh my God, I can't even do maths. 265 minus 216. 49. I thought it was more. I thought it was 45.
He leads him by 49 points.
Yeah, so he needs to score.
He just needs to score one more point. Two more?
He needs to score two. Yeah, he needs, because he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's won 5 races. Foggia's won 4. So yeah, if it went back on wins, Foggia could win all last 3 and win the championship. So Guevara, to be safe, 49 points. He needs to leave with 51 points in the bag. So he needs to outscore Foggia by 2.
Realistically, win it or be on the...
So if Guevara wins the race,
done.
He's champion, full stop. Champion, full stop, that's it. If Guevara is second, Foggia has to finish...
ahead of him?
Ahead of him, yeah. Otherwise, again, he's champion.
Yeah.
If he beats Foggia, full stop, he's champion.
Yeah.
Third place, then Foggia...
again has to beat him.
Again has to beat him.
Yeah.
And then, so wherever Guevara finishes, he has to beat him.
Surely it's like that until the last few points. Surely.
Until one, so if Guevara scores 1 point and Foggia beats him, then well, Foggia, if Guevara finishes 15th, he can't win the championship. Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to finish 14th or higher ahead of Foggia. Is basically the easiest way to do it.
All he needs to do is finish ahead of Foggia and he has it in the bag.
No, actually, because if he finishes second and Foggia's ahead of him in 13th, for example, he can't win the championship.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense.
Yeah, so all he needs to do is finish ahead of Foggia.
Finish 14th or higher ahead of Foggia.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorted.
Okay, that's easier. That's better. And then Garcia, he's only 7 points back, so he's 56 behind on Guevara.
Oh no, that's a bit more confusing, that one.
Basically, if Sergio Garcia finishes first, then Guevara has to finish third.
Yeah.
And if Foggia finishes first, then Guevara can finish, I think. There's only a 49-point gap in it, so I'm just trying to think, because 49 points. Yeah, so we'll just say, for the ease of thing, 14th or higher, and he's won. Ahead of, but if ahead of Garcia and Foggia. This is quite hard to work out on air, isn't it? He has to finish ahead of them both, because but then if, say, Garcia wins...
the next few races, yeah.
If Garcia wins the race, but Guevara's third, and Foggia is behind him, he's still champion.
Yeah.
They basically just have to lead with 2 points. Lead with 2 points. Gap over everybody else.
Sorted. Light work.
Nice. Sorry about that. It's probably giving everyone a headache.
Everyone's shouting at us like it's so obvious.
You're like, you're stupid. That's fine. I'm probably very used to that. So Jacob has kindly sent his thing. So for the first time in I think ever, we've actually got predictions from everybody on an actual episode. This is incredible.
Wow.
So Jacob has gone Holgado for pole, Masia third, Foggia second, and Guevara to win. So we've all got Guevara to win. So we all think he's going to win the championship.
Oh, spicy.
Nice.
Watch him absolutely just crash out, ruin it.
Imagine if he crashed. Oh, it'd be carnage. Absolute carnage. Right, we'll go to Moto 2. Pole position, Lauren, please.
Jake Dixon.
Ooh, okay.
He can put it on pole. He's done it multiple times before. Yeah. I think that's a good shout.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I respect it. Cameron and Ryan have gone for Fernandez. Jacob Arbolino. I've gone Agura. I've gone safe. Oh, but now I'm thinking Lopez maybe.
Yeah.
But oh well, it is what it is. I'll go third place first with Arenas. Albert Arenas in second. Jacob, the second, has gone with Augusto Fernandez.
For third?
Yeah, for third, sorry. For third, which is a bit strange. Cameron's gone Lopez. Ryan has gone, as I changed through apps, has gone Canet third. I even forgot about Canet existing. And Lauren has gone for...
Lopez.
Nice. Okay. Second place, we'll start with Ryan, who has gone for Agura. Cameron's got Acosta.
Ooh.
Which I like.
Has he ever ridden there at all? Surely not.
No, he hasn't. No. But we all know what he's like at any track, to be honest. That was for last year. What are you going to go for second?
Dixon.
Okay. Jacob's gone Agura. Ryan's got Agura. Cameron's gone Acosta. I'm going to go for second Fernandez.
I don't think it's going to be the ones battling for the championship.
Do you not?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cameron to win. Cameron has gone with Fernandez.
Oh, I've just seen Jacobs.
I've not seen it yet. Oh, God. All right. So Ryan has gone Fernandez as well. Jacob's gone with Vietti. Vietti. We know he's got terrible decisions, but seriously, bro. Bro. Okay. Jacob's gone with Vietti.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, if you told me that at the start of the season, I would have believed you.
Yeah, me too, to be honest. So.
I'm trying to think now who I want to win. No, I'm going to go Arbolino.
Arbolino, okay.
He's going to go
replicating his.
Yeah, I think he's going to back it up with a win in different, dry conditions, hopefully.
Okay. I like it. Arbolino. I have gone a bit out of the box. Why not? With my homie Alonso Lopez to win.
That's not out of the box.
No, it's not.
I'd love to see it. You got to get those ski goggles back on.
Oh yeah, the unbreakable.
Yeah.
What about that sponsorship? You know what I'm saying? Right. So, we'll go with Jacob first. MotoGP pole position. He's gone with Marc Marquez. Ryan has gone with Jack Miller. Cameron has gone Jack Miller. Who are you going for, Lauren?
Marquez. It's hard to look past him, to be honest.
He loves that place.
Yeah.
I think because it's quite a left-handed circuit as well, but there is obviously Lukey Heights, which dips down and to the right. But His arm's 100%, he said. So it's just
I think
muscle
he'll
now,
put the fast lap in. I don't think he's going to win the race. So he's definitely not my prediction to win. But I think we've seen him put it on pole already since his comeback. I think that one fast lap, definitely.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? He got pole, yeah.
Japan.
So the last few weeks has been a blur, to be honest. Like, I saw a thing earlier that was like, oh yeah, the Queen's been dead more than a month. And I was like, what? Yeah, I could see you're shocked as well.
We only talked about that like last week on the podcast.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. Queen Lizzie.
It's like the 9th of September or something. No, it's earlier than that.
The 8th of September. It's now the 10th of October.
I could tell you exactly what I was doing. It's one of those moments you'll remember for the rest of your life. It'll be like, where were you when the Queen
like
died?
9/11, even though I was like 3 years old. But
I was 2?
We're all babies.
Yeah, don't remember it.
It's fine. No, I don't remember it. I'm sure Jacob and Cameron will remember it. They're old. They can't fight back either, so that's great. So, third place on the podium, please, Lauren.
This is where I don't know. I know my first and second, but I haven't thought about third place. Did
I say my pole position, actually? I can't remember if I did. It's Bang Naya anyway.
Oh, no, you didn't say that.
Okay.
God, third place. It probably will be someone out there. But at the same time, I don't really know. Alex Rins.
Alex Rins for third. Oh my God. Okay, that's going you 0 points.
Yeah.
Well done.
Gonna regret that one.
Yes, I think so. Cameron and Ryan have gone with Mark Marquez for third. Jacob's gone with Jack Miller. And I've gone with Bang Naya in third. Because he's a podium hound.
Fair enough.
Second place, Ryan has gone with Miller. Cameron has gone Quartararo.
I'd love to see
it. Who are you going
it.
for, Lauren?
I'm going to go for Mark Marquez.
Not Marquez. Very solid choice. Jacob has gone for Mark Marquez as well. And I've gone Jack Miller. I think Jack Miller will win the race. Genuinely. But I'm a man of my word. And if you listen to last week's podcast, you heard me say that I think Mark Marquez will win. And I said, stupidly, that I will even predict him to win the race. So I'm going to predict Miller second and Marquez to win the race.
See, I'm not silly and didn't say anything of the sort. So I'm going to predict Miller to win the race because that's obviously what's going to happen.
Literally going to happen, yes. Obviously, I can't remember if I said, but Jacob's got Marquez second, Cameron Quartararo second, Ryan Miller second. Yep. I can't remember my train of thought at the moment. So. You've put Miller to win the race.
Yeah, you've put Mark.
I've put Mark. Cameron's put Miller. Jacob has put Bang Naya, which is solid. And Ryan, the guy who works for Yamaha, has put Quartararo. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, the scenes, it would be incredible. I mean, I'd love to see it.
Imagine that. It would be mad. Absolutely mad. Where did he finish last time? I'm going to Google it.
Did Mark win and he come second? Or did he crash?
Mark either finished first or second the last time they were there. So that helps. That narrows it down. Australia. Mark, he crashed out.
Have you?
He got a DNF. An accident. Dieter Rabat is just down as rider in pain.
I mean, fair. Yeah.
Callio's down as rear tyre wear. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fabio Quartararo. Okay, because it was Vinales, wasn't it?
I've seen so many clips of Vinales crashing.
I haven't seen it. I saw Crash.net posted it earlier.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's been replaying on my feed all day of Maverick crashing out a second.
What a battle that was, though. Unbelievable battle. The fact that Mark pushed him that hard that he just... Wow, unreal.
Because it was such a weird spot for him to crash, but he was just pushing so hard.
So hard. Yeah, the front just locked up on him and just went down. But yeah, Fabio Quartararo has not finished at...
He's only raced there once in MotoGP, so at the same time, I'll not hold too much to it.
No, and then he got a 10th on the speed up in Moto 2. He got a DNF in 2017. He got a 12th in Moto 3, and then he didn't even start in 2015. So he's raced it once in Moto 3, twice in Moto 2 and got a DNF in one of those races, once in MotoGP and got a DNF there. Is this going to be another track he doesn't like?
He hasn't said much about it.
He said that he kind of likes a track the other week, but he's never had a good result there. But this is Fabio, remember, so we can't discount him whatsoever.
I mean, to be fair, the likes of Qatar, we always rule Yamaha's out. And sure, at the start of last season, Maverick and Fabio won the opening 2 races. So I'm not going to... I'd like to see him on the podium at least, but we'll see.
We will indeed. Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be really good. I mean, again, it's going to be up at the crack of dawn. But
no, it's stay up all night is what it is, because the Moto 3 is on at 1.
F1's at 11. Yeah, the race is at 1, and then FP1 starts at 11. Great, there goes my weekend plans of going out.
I have plans on Sunday, so it's actually quite nice to actually be able to do stuff the last few Sundays. Although very sleep deprived, I've been able to leave my house on a Sunday in what would be race time. So
that's always a nice part about these flyaways, to be fair.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I was going to get up for the Formula 1 and then just slept through it.
Were you?
Yeah, it was on at 6.
Yeah,
I was like, it's not it's not horrendous. It's early, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And just slept through it. I didn't even set an alarm. I was like, whatever. And then Max ended up winning, so it was just like...
Yeah, but he wasn't sure if he'd won it, was he?
It was a bit awkward. So who tweeted that? And it was like, in MotoGP, at least we know who's world champion.
It was Jordan from Crash.net.
It was so funny. It's the first thing I'd seen.
12,000 likes.
Oh, it was so funny.
Unreal. Yeah, because, I was going to watch it, and then I went out and then got home at 5 o'clock in the morning and was like, I'm going to bed.
You should have stayed up. It was 1 hour. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, 1 hour, but then it's a 2-hour race. So I'm like, it's a 2-hour race, so I was like, it's
Yeah.
But,
and it was delayed and all. So actually.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'll just sleep in and find out that Max has won it tomorrow. Gucci. But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for.
Yes.
I hope you've enjoyed listening to this 2-person podcast. We'll probably be back next weekend with the usual squad, as always. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening to it. I wanted to just say a few words before the podcast ended. Just pay some respects to Chrissy Rouse, who obviously tragically lost his life following an accident in the British Superbike race at Donington Park in race 3. Obviously, Chrissy actually was a follower of everything motor racing as well. So he's well aware of our existence, which I feel quite honoured about, given the fact that he was a great podcaster as well, and he was, just genuinely a good guy. Amazing around the paddock. Every time you walk around the paddock, you can always have a chat with him. Like, I remember seeing him at Alton, the week prior to the race. Yeah, and said hi to him and waved. But, and he was always happy to chat with anybody. And you read the comments of all the... He was trending on Twitter, with like thousands, tens of thousands of tweets.
Yeah.
Paying respects, and that says a lot about the guy, and the hole he will miss. Obviously the Chasing the Racing podcast, with everything he does. He's a maths teacher, and he does obviously other jobs as well. He was great in the paddock. He was great on track. Obviously a 2020 British Superstock champion. Just genuinely a thoroughly good guy, and he did not deserve what happened to him. And it's so unbelievably tragic. Like, fully devastating, to be honest.
Yeah, you could tell how much he was loved in the paddock in BSB, and outside of that, just by the respect he got given on social media, people's tributes and stuff like that. It's going to be a tough one to get over for sure. Yeah,
undoubtedly. And it really has left a massive hole in the racing community. And we do pass our respects to Chrissy's friends and family, because there's not really many words to say, really, because it is genuinely just a tremendous loss. And like I said, I just wanted to pay our respects to Chrissy. And this one's for you, Chrissy. And whilst we're at it as well, I just wanted to wish well or good health to Victor Steeman as well, who's in the hospital at the moment following a horrific crash in the World Supersport 300 race as well. Really, really, really bad crash. He's had obviously brain surgery as well. Really severe brain surgery, actually. Reading the press release, they've said that they had to remove the top of his skull to reduce the swelling, which is horrific. So again, holding out hope for Victor. Again, another fan of the motor racing side of things as well. And again, a superb competitor, really good rider. Scott Ogden summed it up really well the other day, actually. He said that he started the day battling for the championship and finished it battling for his life. And that is unfortunately the harsh reality of the sport and why they do it. So I just wanted to as well pass my respects to him as well and just reiterate the whole respect these riders. You might not have to like them. You might not like what they do on track or off track, but please just respect them for this reason and this reason alone, because they are still human beings and they still have everything to live for and everything to lose on that racetrack. So yeah.
It's a big thing they do every week, putting their leathers on and going out for our entertainment. So I think the last couple of weeks has really put it into perspective, being a motorsport fan. And fingers crossed that everything that we get good news on that one soon.
Yeah, definitely holding out hope for Victor. But I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. We're back next weekend, once again, after the Australian Grand Prix for all the coverage and chaos and Guevara being crowned champion. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, and I hope you have a good week as always. We're back next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.